Okay, guys, thanks for being here. Starting off, Georgia State recap. Obviously, tough loss Saturday. Just really thought our guys played extremely hard, played physical. Just really, to be honest, just too many critical errors. Offensively, there's about 5 things we really focus on each week. We think that they really give us the best chance to win. Because really, at the end of the day, good football still wins. And some of those things that we talk about every week are, we want to create 10 or more explosive plays. The second thing is we want 5 or less lost yardage plays, which are TFL, sacks, and penalties. Be 50% on third down, be 100% in the red zone as far as getting points, and then 1 or less turnovers. And all 5 of those, we didn't get to our goals this week. And I think that's what shows up when you watch the film. We played good in spurts offensively, but the turnovers were just a huge part. We cannot turn the ball over that much and put our defense in bad situations, and that's really what happened. I think that's the story of the game. I'm really, really proud of Jacob Free. He came in and really gave our team somewhat of a lift, to be honest with you. I thought he handled it very well with a guy that's gotten limited reps and not been prepared to be the starter. So I thought that was a bright spot for him. Obviously, there's a couple throws, 2 or 3 throws probably he'd like to have back. But I think obviously he's got a lot of talent, and we got to make sure that we just help around him and protect the ball better. I know we fumbled the last 2 weeks at the running back position, and then obviously Jacob had a fumble being hit from behind. So just got to clean it up. We're very, very close, I think, offensively to being maybe reaching our potential or getting close. But as long as we don't do those 5 things consistently in each week, then it's going to be one of those up and down games. So we got to improve in that area. It's something we've talked about, we're focusing on, and we'll go to work on that again today. Defensively, really excited about the growth of our defense. I think when you look at them, they've created a number of turnovers in the last few weeks, and obviously scored twice this past week. So with the exception of, I guess, 1 drive in the third quarter, I thought we did an excellent job. Again, Coach Hall, Brandon Hall, and his staff are putting together a great plan and pretty much giving us some opportunities here the last couple weeks, and we're not taking advantage of those for sure. I thought our defense, played extremely hard. Last year we were challenged physically and probably didn't respond like we want. That was a point of emphasis this year, and I thought our defense did that. They answered the bell, so to speak. Jaden McDonald and Reddy Stewart were, I thought, big surprises or bright spots, not surprises, but bright spots for this week on defense. I mean, obviously Jaden, I think he had like 16 tackles, and Reddy Stewart with the tip interception. Shaquille Brown also had a fumble return for a touchdown. So really excited to see some of those guys. Those are some newer players that we have that are playing a lot and making plays. So excited about the growth of the defense, and I think they'll continue. And going to face another big challenge this week for sure. Special teams, I thought we were pretty good most of the day. Obviously, we got to make our field goals, especially the short, easy ones. We got to do that. We got to execute the snap, the hold, and the kick, and the protection. And for whatever reason, we've been off in one of those areas. It seems like more than we've been on. So that's something we're trying to figure out and get corrected. Really was proud of Jack Martin. I thought he kicked off extremely well and really had 2 big-time punts as well. So I know he's been working very hard in punting. We really didn't sign him as a punter, so he's worked extremely hard to try to make himself into a very good punter. But overall, we're obviously disappointed. We felt like we had an opportunity on Saturday to win a conference game here at home, and that's something that we really talk a lot about. But at the end of the day, we're not playing good enough right now all the way around to get that done, and it shows up when you play good opponents. And we got to get it corrected because we're going to face another one this week. When you talk about Arkansas State, obviously Blake Anderson being their head coach, been there a long time, I guess maybe 6 years now. Very, very impressive. Blake and I are good friends and really have a lot of respect for him and what he's doing there at Arkansas State. Offensively, they're very, very explosive for sure. Got an outstanding receiving core. The Adams kid is one of the better ones in our league, a big athletic guy, makes a lot of plays for them. I think both quarterbacks are really good players, and Blake's committed to playing them both. It looks like just rotating them, which is very impressive for that they can execute at a high level while doing that. So they do a great job in attacking you in a lot of different ways, very, very creative. They're going to throw 4 or 5 probably special plays out there a game. They're going to attack you vertically. They're going to put a lot of pressure on you. And they also play several good running backs and keep those guys fresh. So I think for us, it's a big challenge for our defense. Arkansas State scored a lot of points this year, probably with the exception of of one game. And you got to look at it too. 2020 is like it's unlike any other year we've ever had. Each week when you talk about injuries and COVID-19 and all the factors, I mean, you're not going to have all your guys all the time. So I know that's been a factor sometimes for them as well. Defensively, I think mostly an odd front defense. They do a good job of kind of muddying the water and junking it up. Very impressed with their corners, especially their two guys that have been kind of banged up, which I'm sure they're getting back for us from what I understand. Both guys can run and are good players. The linebackers are good players. Number 18, Justin Rice, is a transfer that looks like a very, very smart football player, is where he's supposed to be. Kind of maybe gets them lined up, it looks like, but really impressed with him. The nose guard, Forrest Merrill, I think he's one of the best D linemen in our league. Very powerful, explosive, sudden. He was a factor last year. I'm pretty sure he got hurt in our game last year and missed a lot of time, but he's back, looks healthy now, playing extremely well, so he'll be a huge challenge for us up front. And I think they've played a lot of different guys, like I mentioned, because of the COVID-19 and because of maybe some injuries. So they've had several different lineups, but they do a good job. They're very well coached, and obviously we're going to have to play extremely well on the road to have a chance to win. Their special teams, I think they're very solid in all their units. They very multiple in their kickoff, cover, and punt teams. I think that's what shows up the most. They give you a lot of different looks, do a good job of mixing that up. The kickoff returner, Rashad Paul, is really good. The guy's leading our league in return yards, one of the top returners in our league, very explosive guy. We got to make sure we kick it in the right spot, and we got to make sure we cover because he can take it back for you. So we got to make sure we know exactly what lane we're supposed to be in and how we're supposed to approach it and so forth. So the punter's one of the top ones in our league. I think he does a great job as well. So big challenge for us, being on the road, conference game. And a really good team. It should be a really good football game, probably very similar to what we had this past weekend. We have to get better at doing the little things and get those things corrected. I really believe this team's very close to, playing to our potential. Obviously, we do have some guys that are somewhat inexperienced, but at the end of the day, we got to play better. We got to execute better. We got to take care of the football on offense. We got to tackle on defense and just continue to try to clean up the details. And it's a big focus for us. I do think our team is a very mature team from the standpoint of they see that. They see the opportunities we have in front of us. They're very, very those guys are excited. They're very resilient. They understand that we have the opportunity to have a really good football team, but we got to take advantage of the opportunities we get. And moving forward, that's what we got. We know for sure we got 7 more opportunities, so we got to take advantage of those to get in some kind of postseason, which the conference championship and all our goals are still in front of us. So that's one thing we talk about a lot. So we're looking forward to the challenge on Saturday, and I think we'll have a great week of practice. Okay, questions?
Coach, do you have an update on Hunter?
I don't yet. We're going to try by the middle of the week, maybe tomorrow, hopefully have some kind of update. I do think that obviously he's banged up and sore, and just kind of have to see how he responds. I do know that there's nothing serious internally, but we'll see if he can play. Gunner's one of the toughest guys on our team, so I do think if it's possible, he will. Very smart guy that obviously studies the game a lot. So we'll see if he's ready to go. Right now, I can't really give you an accurate update on him.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned the dual quarterbacks at Arkansas State.
Mm-hmm.
Does that, what goes behind preparing for something like that?
Well, I think they're similar, though, in their styles of play. I just think Blake's sitting there with 2 guys that he believes in. I think the original backup guy, I think first game last year he started, I believe, was against us, and he played really well. So I think the other kid that was the starter before, I guess, got back healthy, and he's won games there. So I think in their minds they're just trying to play both guys because he thinks both are good enough to play. I don't see them being totally different or night and day different, dual threat, this guy's a pocket or anything like that. I think they both do a great job of executing their system and at a high level. And I think in Blake's mind that gives them the best opportunity to win and be successful. And it seems like both of those players have bought into it, which I think is extremely important in how that's done. So and I think their team probably believes in both those guys from what I can tell. So I don't think it changes our preparation. I do think they do what they do offensively, and they're very they do a lot of different things. So I think very multiple. So I don't think it changes preparation in as far as style of play for each quarterback, but definitely their offense presents a lot of challenges.
I want to ask you about A.J. Lewis. He's a guy that seems to really take advantage of his opportunities when he gets to catch the ball. And I know his primary role is blocking, but just talk about his overall game.
Yeah, somebody told me he's had like 12 career catches and maybe 5 scores or something crazy like that. Huh? 8 or 9 and 5 or something like that. Maybe I was wrong, but he is. I tell you what, AJ's really developed and come along since the first spring I got here. He's a guy that we're got a lot of confidence in that he can go out and obviously he's big and physical and can block. I think he's got good hands. He's a good athlete. And I think DeAndre Lewis is in that same mold, who's a younger player that's learning a little bit by watching AJ. But I think those guys present us an opportunity to play in some 11 and 12 personnel groups that especially when you talk about the opportunity maybe to single up your receivers or run short yardage or red zone or whatever. So I'm really pleased with their growth so far. We probably didn't block as well this past weekend as we have at that position, I would say, but I really am excited about their growth and the future of those guys. Correction, 8 catches, is that right? 8 catches, 5 touchdowns in his career. That's pretty good.
How have you seen the team respond since Saturday? I'm sure you guys have practice Sunday and yesterday.
What did he ask? I couldn't hear it.
How they responded on Saturday.
Oh, our guys? Oh, they've responded fine. I mean, obviously disappointed Saturday night in the dressing room for sure. But I think what Sunday does for us, it allows us the opportunity to spend a lot of time in the film room. And when you look at things from a coaching standpoint or player standpoint, really break down, okay, what were our issues? Why did we have 2 3 and outs there in a row? Well, when you look at it, of the 6 plays that we snapped, 4 of them we didn't execute. 4 of them we either got beat up front blocking, or we didn't throw it to the right person, or we dropped the ball. So those are very correctable mistakes that I think our players see that and say, golly, if we execute and do what we're supposed to do, think about how good we could be on offense. So I think that's part of it. Defensively, I think the same thing. Hey, you got to cover this guy when they line up in this formation. You've got number 3 or whatever, and we didn't always do that. So I think our team is the kind of kids and the kind of guys they're intelligent guys, and I think they watch the film and say, we got to get this stuff corrected. We can't expect to beat good football team if we don't play good football. And I think that's what it comes down to. Good football still wins, and it's the basic fundamentals of the game that we have to consistently do. And we do them at times, but there's been other times like this past Saturday where we haven't consistently executed those little things, and they add up. And then next thing you know, you're either in a dogfight like we were 2 weeks ago, or you get beat in a close game. So we're still looking to make sure we get those things corrected, and I think that just comes with practice.
Coach, there was obviously a reason you picked Jacob Free as the backup quarterback to start the season. And when he comes in, I mean, this is what you expect your backup quarterback to do when you have confidence in him. With the teammates around Jacob, did you see them cling to him and have an understanding that we know this guy can get the job done? And were you, and you mentioned it earlier, but were you overall pleased with this is exactly what I expected if Jacob Free's number was called in the season?
Yeah, I mean, we had a pretty heated competition early on in camp, and I thought the difference was Gunner made better decisions and protected the ball and was very accurate when he threw it. Nobody's ever questioned Jacob Free's talent. He's got a big-time arm. He's a big guy, pretty athletic in some respects. So, I mean, I think he's got all the potential in the world. Obviously, you got to pick somebody, so we made the decision to go with Gunner. And then Jacob, what I really liked about him and what I was really proud and impressed is just his demeanor when he came into the game. There was no panic. He was very encouraging, communicating with the O-line on the sideline, the receivers. He's got a lot of talent, and he's obviously wanted an opportunity to play, and he hadn't played in 2 years. So the fact that he hasn't really played in a game in 2 years, exception, I guess, of mop-up duty against Middle, I thought he went in and handled things very, very well. The turnovers, we have to correct that. It's going to be something that'll show up and I think the way he handled his press conference Saturday night says a lot about who he is. And, people were wanting to give him all the credit in the world, it felt like, and he well deserved because he did play well overall. But I think the thing he talked about was a few decisions that he wished he'd had back, and that shows a level of maturity in his mind. And so I'm impressed with that. And he's working his butt off the last couple of days, preparing for practice today and preparing to play on Saturday in case that's what he has to do. And I think if all goes well, I expect him to play well, and that's what you want when you have 2 or 3 good quarterbacks. Is they're all well prepared and can go in, and to do that with limited reps, I think is very impressive.
Coach, you mentioned that you have a mature team and you feel like you have a mature team, and obviously you guys want to win on Saturday. But how big of a thing would it be to be able to bounce back like you did after the BYU loss?
Yeah.
Just continue to play well and maybe put that loss behind you.
Yeah, I think it'd be huge. I mean, when you can win a road game in conference play, it's big no matter what. And our guys obviously disappointed with the way the game ended on Saturday, but I do think we understand that the big picture's out there, and at the end of the day, man, this is a marathon, not a sprint, and you can't just overreact on 1 or 2 games here and there. And whether you win or lose, you have to. We played Texas State and played really well, and got a conference win here at home and all that good stuff, and we didn't overreact there, and but we came out and didn't play good football, and that's why we struggled against Eastern Kentucky. Same time this past week, it comes back to the little things like I mentioned earlier, and so we have to understand that those are the things it's going to take to win. And when we can do those things at a consistent basis, we'll win close football games or we'll beat good football teams. So this weekend is going to be obviously another big challenge for us, but at the same time, I think our guys are up for that. And if we go up there and play really good, sound football and correct the mistakes that we just mentioned earlier, then I think we'll have a really good opportunity to win the football game.
Shaquille, we talked to you after the game on Saturday. Just has it really set in yet that you were able to run that one back for a touchdown?
Yes. I got a lot of phone calls, a lot of pictures and stuff of the touchdown. It's still, amazing to me. I mean, I'm 300 pounds. It was, I didn't expect that to happen. But, thanks to Cholo, it fell right in my hands, and it's still kind of new right now. But it's starting to set in a little bit now, though.
I think that Adam released the pictures of you see Carlton kind of behind you celebrating as you're running it in. What does that just say about the close-knit of this defense and how he is as a leader on that side of the ball?
Carlton, every single play, he's always, hey, everybody get lined up here. And to see him so happy for me, because I'll be happy for him whenever, he have the big games and the big tackles and stuff, So that just shows that, it's not just one way. Everybody is always happy for each other whenever we do something. He was happy for Reddy when Reddy Stewart got the interception for a touchdown. And on the field, he was extremely happy for me, as you can see in the picture. So, we're a real tight group. We try to keep it that way. Just have each other's backs at all times.
Obviously it's important to get turnovers on defense, but how important is it for this team to force those turnovers and, just get to the football like you guys did on Saturday?
It's very important. They talk about that every week in practice, running to the football. Even if you think guys got them down, just run to the football because you never know what can happen. And just like that, I really didn't expect that. Nobody really did. So it's like getting to the football is the main focus of our defense. And we don't want just one guy. We want all 11 guys to swarm to the ball every single time the ball is ran or thrown in a certain direction. So getting to the football is the main focus of our defense every single week. Running to the ball and not just waiting to see if somebody else is going to do anything. So just go and help out. Everybody help out. All 11 guys.
You guys have an Arkansas State team this week that loves to run a dual quarterback type offense. Just preparation goes into that preparing for two separate guys?
I couldn't hear what he said.
Preparation goes into preparing for two different quarterbacks, like you all saying.
Oh, I mean, at the end of the day, we have to be ready as a defense. So, I mean, even if they have a running quarterback, we'll have to get ready for that. If they have a pocket passer, we'll have to get ready for that. I'm real confident in our defense that we'll be able to get to the quarterback if he's a scrambler or anything. We have guys on the front side, me, myself, Cholo, a lot of good defensive linemen. We have a lot of good, fast linebackers. So I'm real confident in what we could do getting to any quarterback. That's really not a concern with me, depending on who they play. I'm pretty sure he's going to be a good quarterback, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get to him.
Yeah, in 2 years at Troy, I think you caught 8 passes and 5 of them have been touchdowns. I know throughout your high school career you had quite a bit of touchdowns as well. Kind of talk about having a nose for the end zone, I guess. I mean, it's pretty remarkable that how you've taken advantage of those opportunities.
Oh yes, sir. I take a lot of advantage of my opportunities. I just keep grinding and just play hard day and out at practice, and just when it's my time, I gotta execute and show up for my team.
And I know a big role for you, obviously, is blocking. Talk to us about how you've improved that over the course of your time at Troy and how you work on that.
Well, I work very hard at blocking. Coach Dancy, he very hard on us. He always tells us about the little stuff, like it really matters. Our footwork, our stance, and when you do those things, it'll take care of itself.
AJ, it's been a while since Troy's really used the tight end position over the last few years. How have you kind of developed that role here at Troy?
Well, Coach Lindsey trusts me. Any pass plays, and if I'm in the offense during the pass play towards the tight end, I'll take a full advantage of it.
I'm sure you saw the down by Shaquille Brown this weekend. Do you think he has what it takes to be a tight end?
Matter of fact, we had just talked about that when we had dinner before the game. He told me he played tight end back in high school, and he showed it Saturday.
From your perspective, what changes, if anything, at all with Free at quarterback compared to Gunner?
Well, Gunner's a great quarterback. Free's a great quarterback too. They both have the same mentality of getting their playmakers the ball, and so they're really the same. They practice alike. They sometimes Gunner may just trust whoever in the process in the offense, and he just love what he's doing.
Just from your perspective, we talked to Coach Lindsey, and he says, things have to change. You guys have to execute better. What has to be different this week against Ohio State?
We got to keep our head down and keep grinding, day and out. Just keep going play by play, take the little things more seriously, and we'll be just fine. Be ready for Ark State.
Speaking of Arkansas State, what challenges do you see them presenting on Saturday for your offense?
Well, I think we'll be just fine. I think they run a even front defense, so we'll execute by that and just play whatever we see.